Hello everyone, this is Marshall Gittler, Head of Investment Research here at FXPRIMUS, bringing you the day's scheduled events for Friday, April 22nd. Well, today is PMI day, at least it's preliminary PMI day. The day started with the Japanese PMI, which doesn't seem to move markets at all. 5 out of the last 6 times, dollar yen's only moved about 5 pips in the 30 minutes following the release, which is probably what it would do anyway. Now, the French manufacturing PMI is reasonably market affecting, and the German one is the most important one, even more than the overall EU PMI, because by the time the EU-wide figure comes out, the market's already moved to take into account the French and the German data. Not to mention that EU manufacturing PMI tracks the German figure closely anyway. Now, market expectations are for all the figures to be either stable or higher, which could prove positive for the euro. Next, the market's attention will shift to Canada, which announces its retail sales and CPI at the same time. Retail sales are expected to be lower in February, but this is just to be expected after the strong February figure, which was the largest monthly sales gain since March of 2010. Now, the modest decline expected would still indicate that consumption's rebounded from the soft levels of the fourth quarter of 2015. Confirming the Bank of Canada's view that first quarter growth was probably, quote, unexpectedly strong, unquote. The figure may well be neutral to positive for the Canadian dollar. Probably the CPI will be the more important number, though. Inflation is expected to decelerate somewhat, but that too is as the Bank of Canada anticipated. They said after their April meeting that inflation, quote, will likely ease further before returning to 2%. So that should not affect monetary policy at all. Net-net, I'd expect that these two indicators will be neutral to modestly positive for the Canadian dollar. Overall, their impact may well be swamped by whatever happens to oil today. Finally, the market manufacturing PMI for the U.S. will be announced. It too is expected to rise somewhat. The market PMI has now recovered to around the same level as the more closely watched ISM index. So a further rise raises hopes for the ISM index as well and could be positive for the dollar. This is Marshall Gittler, Head of Investment Research at FXPRIMUS. Get more market insights on our education pages and turn your trading ideas into action with FXPRIMUS, the safest place to trade.